Hello everybody. It's Andrew back with another video. Sorry for kind of like the lack of uploading recently, weather forecast wise. I'll just go into I'll just go into whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but like recently I just haven't really been doing so much forecast wise. The last one I did was 4 weeks ago on December 10th, and that wasn't a very good vid in my opinion. The audio was pretty crappy because I was talking very quiet because it was late at night. But this is going to be my first better forecast in a while. We have isolated to scattered severe weather being a possibility in the next couple of days. And why I haven't really been uploading recently is because I went with my family. I went to my family in Dallas, and then I've also had other things like I've been more involved with school recently, trying to get my grades up in the first semester. Now second semester starting. Right now it's a weekend, so I'd probably expect posts in the weekend if there's anything major happening, maybe a couple times during the week, but other than that, I really wouldn't expect too many posts. But let's get into it. Currently across the country, we really don't have too much happening. There is, or actually, we do have a lot of stuff happening, but it's more in isolated areas. I'm pretty sure this is a frost advisory in Georgia. Looks like we have a wind chill advisory in West Virginia. Special weather statements in Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia. Winter weather advisory for a potential ice storm. Not a significant ice storm, but enough to where you're going to have icy roadways and stuff like that. Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa are the places with ice storm advisories. And it looks like we have a winter storm warning for portions of Michigan, probably lake effect snow related. Winter weather advisories and lake effect snow warnings for places like New York and Pennsylvania and into northeast Ohio. And we have winter weather warnings and advisories up there. Pretty active across the northwest. Looks like we have a blizzard warning in Montana with high storm warning, with high wind warnings across portions of that area as well. Going in storm prediction center wise, today, no severe weather is expected. Tomorrow, a pretty wide range of isolated severe weather is expected, and I do expect there to be a slight risk of severe thunderstorms, probably in here at some point. Um, some potential for higher tornado outlook probabilities are possible if the lower level trend of the hydrographs gets a little bit bigger, which they actually did mention that. So they could be going 5% tornado risk and 5%, maybe 15 wind. But yeah, here's the tornado risk. It's more secluded toward Houston. If they would put one, it'd probably be something like here, pretty small area along the coast. 5% wind and then a 5 hail. There's also a day 3 marginal. This is in place for isolated damaging wind gusts. Maybe a brief tornado as well. Here's the weather prediction centers, what they're having forecasted. With the day 1 period, you're expecting a stationary front that is expected to become a warm front rise northward. And portions of Arkansas could be seeing some severe weather potentially, and then other spots of the state could be seeing freezing rain, which is weird. There's a big area of freezing rain expected in Indiana, Missouri, Illinois, that kind of stuff. On day 3, more severe weather is possible at the secondary low in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, maybe Arkansas too. Fronts wise, here's a look at the fronts. I'll play it and stop it when it gets a little bit more major. We have a dry line coming in right here. Some severe weather would be possible at this point along the warm front here. Maybe a tornado or two. This is probably when the main threat is going to exist. A very weak low pressure is expected along with not really a front to initiate the stuff, but probably some sort of boundaries. 12Z Sunday, and then and then into Sunday evening. Monday, maybe some storms for Florida. Tuesday, nothing really expected across the country as your Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday, basically, with the look off this, we might see a stronger system coming based off all this moisture and flow coming northward. We'll see. Here's the QPF over the next few days. Seems like the south is going to get drenched with rain. Day 2, a couple areas of marginal risk, and day 3, an area of marginal risk. Winter weather-wise, here's the expected snow over the next few days. Let's go freezing rain wise. Um, so there is a 70% chance of at least some amount of ice. Um, Currently a very low chance for anything above a tenth of an inch based off this. We'll go into the winter weather side of things as well at some point, but let's go into the severe weather side of things here. Um, we'll first take a look at the reflectivity loop of the HRRR, and oh, I didn't mean to put it that far forward. So here's when it starts off. Here's Saturday. You can see the supercells and stuff forming along the coast. There's a little band of them starting to form in Texas there. If you take a sounding out in front of it, that's after the warm front passes through. So right here's when we start to see storms initiate around 22Z. And they're in an environment that definitely could support a tornado or two. Now, the problem is your lack of upper level flow with above 12 kilometers, which is not going to help the storms out too much, but ample instability will. And once that low level jet gets stronger around 0Z, you can see here the soundings are becoming a bit better, and also a little bit more upper level support is there as well. You don't have the hodographs kind of collapsing on themselves as well. It's another not too bad sounding there. If you go throughout the night, some periods of severe weather is definitely possible. Let's zoom in. We'll zoom in it a little bit, but also some strong to severe thunderstorms are also gonna be possible into Arkansas with this. And this is actually a solid hodograph once you get to 7Z, so there's probably going to be a tornado threat overnight. At this point, maybe but you can't rule out a more longer-lived tornado with this type of stuff. It's not going to be super long-lived. Probably not going to be a significant tornado, but probably a better tornado threat around 6 to 7Z than there is during the day, due to the fact that the hodographs get a bit more enlarged. Oh yeah, definitely a little bit better. Yeah, that is definitely a lot more solid. The upper level support gets a lot better throughout the night as well, based off the HRRR with pretty decent wind valleys throughout the sounding and a well-rounded hodograph there as well. Pretty good instability and nice lapse rates to definitely provide a hail threat there. Not going to be too warm in the low levels, so you're not really going to need to worry about anything too significant. Um, Over this time period, we probably will be seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms, probably some tornadic activity across Mississippi there. Another solid sounding for tornadoes, not particularly great, but definitely will get the job done. Let's stop it right at hour 48. So I think your highest tornado threat would probably be somewhere in here. You definitely see the ample 3 Cape setting up. Mixed air Cape is definitely there, with your surface crossovers really nicely there. 1 kilometer shear is pretty nice, especially across Mississippi. 6 kilometers isn't bad either. Your 500 millibar actually isn't bad. And your 850 is really solid too. So yeah, definitely going to be potential for that. Looking at wind barb wise, let's take another sounding out in front of that band of storms in more eastern Mississippi there. Again, smaller hodos, but a lot of instability to definitely combat that, especially in the low levels there. Not dry at all, pretty saturated throughout the soundings. Let's go to the 12Z model runs of the Earth models. So they show the supercells being very vigorous off the shore at this point. Let's see if those come on shore. No, they'll stay off the shore, but you do get a few isolated supercells to form onshore, and that's definitely a good hodograph. I don't think you're gonna have that big of a warm nose right there. Seems like an MCS just forms on the ocean and goes southeast, which is pretty interesting. There's definitely going to be more surface instability than that over the Houston area. I feel like this model is downplaying the potential for surface instability there. If this solution were to come true, though, Louisiana would get hit pretty hard by this MCS, and that would provide tornado potential and probably some damaging wind potential with it as well. Not probably, that would provide damaging wind potential. If this model were to be correct, 6Z is when the tornado threat would be highest, which a lot of models are showing that, but I wonder if the HRRR shows the secondary MCS right there, does it? It does. That's the 12Z run. Does the 18Z run show it? No. So we have a bit of a model disagreement on that. Let's just keep on going here. Seems like we get isolated supercells even into portions of kind of Arkansas, Louisiana. They probably wouldn't be as tornadic supercells, but maybe they'd have a couple rotations. That MCS is still going strong into southeast Louisiana based off of the ARW. And it ends up fizzling out there, but we start to get more discrete supercell development at 8Z. Let's take a look at some soundings here. And that's definitely a better environment for supercellular storms. Not bad at all. Definitely could be a bit better. Feels like they start to cluster up too. Not bad either. Okay. But as you can see there, these storms start to get more linear as you get around 12Z. And probably southeast Louisiana is going to be under the gun at this point into southeast Texas. And we might see more higher tornado potential with this if we get the right wind profiles and stuff to set up. And let's take a look at the NSSL. It wants more amplified instability, but let's go through the reflectivity run. We'll go to 16Z. Let's just go through the reflectivity run. I should have done this last time, but I didn't. So you can definitely see where the warm front is at this point, and you can definitely see it. Oh, bang, that's a lot of convection right there. Would this be severe? Yeah, it probably would be strong to severe at this point. Is that MCS or no? I don't know. There's some sort of mesoscale feature there. Okay, that would not be severe, if that is anything. That would potentially be severe to given the given everything. Okay, so the ARW wants a second round to form around 10Z there. Okay. And a few supercells in front of the main line. Interesting. And yeah, that's not bad. Let's get a loop of the surface-based cape crossovers. I want to see these. That's not bad. I think you're gonna get a little bit more instability than it's showing though. Now let's look at the HRW V3 model. Now this model runs cold, very cold usually, but its reflectivity outputs are usually pretty good. So once a band of supercells to form on the ocean there, kind of sit there, then move northward and hit portions of Louisiana there into Mississippi. Nice. Is there any good environment in Alabama for tornadoes? Let's stop it at 54 and look. Or 53. Just a little bit of instability. Let's see. That's a solid photograph. If there was more instability, which you probably would get more dew points than that. Yeah, nice. What about 1Z? I want to see this. There's no instability. That's very funny. That's very funny. Very, very funny. You get instability up there, but not along the coast. Science, baby. Okay. Let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer as well for Sunday. We're not gonna look at it for Saturday because we've already looked at the other KMs. We'll go to the 18Z run there. Let's go to 18Z. Let's see if it shows anything severe. Nothing forming in that warm sector. Everything further north. That is not realistic at all. HRRR. Or not HRRR, NAM 3 kilometer. Sorry, I'm mixing up the models here. Yeah, that's not bad. I think the HRRR would have the more realistic solution, though, if we're going to be totally honest with you. Maybe the regular NAM has a more realistic solution than this, because I don't think this is how it works unless something pretty wacky happens, not gonna lie. After this, we'll go look at the 21Z wrap, because that's loaded for this event. Okay, the regular NAM wants more of that HRRR solution there. It's not as fast as the HRRR, though, but it has more of the better photographs like the HRRR is showing. Like, the NAM 3K doesn't want backed ones at all. The HRRR does. Let's look at the wrap as well. We'll go to the 21Z wrap. We're going to go over to the south central sector here and we're gonna look at everything through. We're not gonna do the reflectivity loop because the wrap isn't really known for reflectivity usually, so we'll just go from there. 23Z, let's look at some soundings here in Houston. I think you'd expect a little bit more low-level shear than that, but I feel like the wrap has a thing to where it underdoes the low-level shear usually, so not surprising. Okay, that's a little bit better of a sounding. We'll go a little bit later at night. How about 2Z? Looks like the photographs are a little bit more enlarged here. Yeah, they are just a little bit more enlarged. What about Houston there? Not bad. What about like 6Z? I wonder if we got that 6Z crack like the other models are showing. Okay, yeah, the photographs get better. The 0 to 6 kilometer wind shear gets better at this point. It's 33 knots instead of 20 knots. So that's a lot better. What about a little bit later? Seems like 9Z. Let's see. Anything better? That's not bad. I might be missing a really good environment at like 12Z or something, or like 10Z or 6Z or something, or 7Z or something, but that's okay. We'll get them next time. Um, let's go to 18Z. So to compare this with the HRRR, it seems like these look a little bit more linear. Yeah, these photos are a lot more linear than what the HRRR has. What about the looking way that? Yeah, that's a lot more linear. Surface winds aren't bad in Eastern Mississippi, where the HRRR shows them not to be bad in, but I think the HRRR likes this event a lot more than the wrap. The wrap wants this to be more of a damaging wind type event with not really too much tornado potential with it, given the lack of turning with the winds. This would be like a 2 tour day off the wrap, maybe even not even a tornado risk off the wrap. So we're gonna have to get certainty for that. That's not a good tornado risk at all. Now let's go look at the ice storm for the Midwest as well. We'll switch gears in the thing, and we'll look at the ice storm. Let's go forecast loop of the HRRR. And like we said earlier, we're gonna have an ice storm affecting the Midwest. Not a significant one, but definitely one. Definitely we could definitely get one. This new HRRR run barely has an ice storm though. It has isolated pockets of ice forming, and it doesn't really want the moisture and instability to really build up. Which is interesting because I remember looking at the HRRR at like 12Z last. I remember looking at it last night, and it was a lot more defined with it. Let's see if the 12Z run has something like the run last night had. No, it doesn't. What about the accumulation of it? Let's go to the end of the run. Okay, so there's isolated pockets of intense ice. So I guess it's not really widespread, but it gets intense in some spots. 0.25. That's a lot of ice. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Pretty high along the coast too. How about look at the NAM 3 kilometer? It'll probably be all weird, but let's take a look at it. Oh boy. So once widespread amounts across Illinois, some areas picking up 0.3 inches there, 0.13 inches. What about the wrap? What do you want, wrap? Rapidy, rapidy, tappity, tappity. Let's go to. I want to see if you want more widespread ice accumulation. Okay, so 0.21 in portions of like the Champaign area, 0.77, 0.07. Okay. What are the A or W? Very isolated amounts of ice. Interesting. I think that model doesn't show it getting cold enough. That's a little bit of a problem. Okay, this is a more realistic solution, 0.07. Maybe that solution happens. Let's look at the V3. It has no ice happening. Lol. What about the NAM? I don't know if it's any good with winter weather or not. Okay. So seems like the consistency is a widespread, or not a widespread, but a band of 0.05 to 0.15 is possible. Maybe isolated amounts higher than that. Just gonna look at the reflectivity of the NAM. Yeah, has a small, quick burst of freezing rain. Um, we'll go look at the local National Weather Services to see what they're expecting with this freezing rain blast. We'll look at the one in Lincoln, Illinois. Um, we'll just go look at the Peoria area to see what the winter weather advisory says there. So, total ice accumulation up to 1/10 of an inch. So they're not expecting anything higher than 1/10 of an inch of ice. So that's good. Now, you can't rule out an isolated area of 1/10 of an inch or higher based off what the models are showing, but that's a good thing. But I think that's gonna do it for this one. This is uh about the ice storm and the severe weather again. If you do want to check, if you do want to get like notifications and stuff, you can hit that notification bell. And if you want to get back here for the next time, you can sub. And I'll see y'all in the next one.